So there was action and drama aplenty as 20 drivers joined us in the Alpine GT4 for a 25-minute race around Estoril, Portugal in the RFactor2 competition system. The lead pack got away cleanly, but that can't be said of the mid-pack on the grid. We'll revisit that later. Calvin Henry in first place, already fighting to hold back the fast guys. Stefan Wirth in second. Diego Silva in third as the drivers head to the back straight and deal with the VIP corner. Race distance this afternoon will work out to about 15 laps, and we're going to bring you the highlights of some of the action. I'm sitting at the back of that lead pack in P6 at this stage, but there's going to be a lot of action before the end. So Yannick Plies in the nearest red car got a lightning getaway, moved right to try and find a gap up the inside, and contact ensued with the blue and yellow car. Let's have a closer look at what occurred. The aftermath, however, very plain to see. Two cars severely damaged, one into the Armco, one literally over the fence. We'll take a ride on board with Yannick Plies. He gets a lightning start, moves right and keeps his foot in with really only the barest of overlaps with the victim car. So this is the start from my perspective, left-hand side of the grid, P7 to begin with. The start at this track is always very, very hairy because the turn one sort of comes back on itself. It's tighter than a 90-degree corner, but really good discipline here by all the other drivers. Everyone's staying predictable, not doing anything crazy and just trying to make the apex. I managed to gain one position there on that red car. This is the next lap, and I have an unfortunate light contact with James Hamilton, and I'll just put that into slow-mo. He's been balked and he's very much offline. I've got the classical racing line here and I'm heading towards the apex. Bit of a counter steer there, but James has kind of been balked. His speed is quite low at the moment and he's staying on the track. I'm planning to use that bit of track that he's on, but I'm trying to avoid him, and we do have a bit of a contact. So I apologise to James afterwards in the forum. And you can see there that he's had a bit of a half spin. I've had a bit of a don't argue from that red car, and we end up having a bit of an elbows out battle for the rest of this lap actually. So here we are into the left hand of the interior parabolica, and I get a bit of a bang there and think, what was that about? And I get another bang there and think, well, I haven't brought the lawnmower today. I'm not planning on going off onto the grass, so if it's all the same to you, I'll continue using a bit of tarmac. I mean, I've paid for the tarmac. Let's have a little bit of a view from that from outboard. So that driver gets a bit of a run up the inside, Diego Armand I think his name was, but then decides that I'm not allowed to have any of the track and starts trying to push me off. But I then resolutely, very resolutely decide to hold my position and manage to stay ahead for the moment. Meanwhile, at the end of lap 3, beginning of lap 4, Calvin Henry and Diego Silva get into a massive braking duel into turn 1, and Calvin doesn't quite manage to pull it up from that spot, and that ends up having massive consequences which you will see, and we'll have a better look at the big crash in a moment. But let's just for a moment digress into theory for a second. We've got Diego Silva on the left hand side, he's on the rubbered line. Calvin Henry fighting like crazy to keep in first place, he's offline, and that's the normal braking mark at the beginning of that discoloured concrete there. You'd normally be on the brakes there. You can say Diego's on the brakes early, Calvin has braked late and off the rubbered line, and you are going to need a lot of luck for that to work. So he ends up running wide, and it's a sort of a re-entry with a bit of consequence there. So here's a couple more exciting views of the carnage. This is what I got to see as I came around the corner. That's one, that's two, I haven't got a fight. Here's someone else's view. This is Stefan Wirth's view. He was in fourth place as all this unfolded. So we'll go down to slow-mo and just see the magnificence of this vehicle dynamics as it rolls over. There's a few bits of rear spoiler, some nice underbody diffuser detail there, viewable as we go by. And there's a little bit of an external shot as Manuel Correa, who I had a great battle with in Guapori, and Stefan Wirth managed to drive round. We'll take you on board with Manuel Correa, and you'll see the reactions he needed to avoid that carnage, and he comes out of that in first place. Now this is a lap later, and this fight is for third place. I'm in the car in front, and you're being viewed, we're enjoying the view from Yannick Plies' car, He's the gentleman who had the unfortunate contact in turn 1 that caused all that bang, that's 1. Caused all that drama on the first, on the start, bang, that's 2. And I must compliment the Alpine company, because Yannick's front end is standing up very, very well for a car that's had as much contact as it has had with the rear end of other cars. Now, by this stage, I'm getting a bit nervous about the amount of contact that I've been getting. I know where he's in my mirrors, and so I'm just giving him plenty of room at the curb, and bang, we have a 4th contact, and thanks for coming. We'll have a bit of a look at that in slow-mo, because I think it's just worth seeing how some people build and overtake. That's bang, that's 1 and 2. Contact and more contact. Bang, that's 3, as we navigate the center parabolica. And bang, that's 4. So now we're merrily onto the main straight, and we're going to have a braking duel into turn 1, which Yannick please prevails. That's the external shot from what I just showed you earlier. And then I get a little love tap from the second red car, and I sort of feel like I'm a lone tiger moth battling the Red Baron as that all unfolded. Now we're about 9 minutes and 20 seconds in now, and I get into a great braking duel with Diogo Silva, who incredibly was the guy who rolled in this spot a few laps ago. So he's none the worse for wear, and he executes a very clinical and clean pass, having bluffed me into making a big covering move into turn 1. So that was a nice clean bit of racing. The red car there is chasing me hard, but he has a bit of an off, and I'm sandwiched now between Diogo Silva and a driver called Alexandre Perroche. And in fact, we have a great fight for about three or four laps, I think. Just here at in the exit of turn 1, turn 2, and in fact, Perroche managed to outbrake me into turn 1, but I squeezed him a bit into turn 2 and managed to get back by him because he didn't have a nice enough line on exit. Now here he gets the angles beautifully in the final S's, gets under me there. I think he's using a bit of help from the inside of the curb there, but a beautiful bit of work to get under me and get the run on the exit of the center parabolica and onto the main straight. But it's not over yet. We're having a fantastic fight, and I decide I'll have a bit more of this. I bluff him a bit to going wide. I get a massive fright when that car's near stationary there. I'll come back to that later. And this time I get a run up the inside, but he does it cleaner than me, and this time he's not going to be fooled by me using a bit of road on the outside there. He uses plenty of curb and gets a good line and good exit. So that was the conclusion to a really good fight with that driver called Alexandre Perroche. Really enjoyable, clean battle. But he shows me a clean pair of heels from here, and I don't manage to get back past him. Meanwhile, Manuel Correa, who I had the great fight with on track in Guapore, is running in P1, but he's being hotly pursued by Diogo Silva, the chap who rolled the car. And in fact, the race ended with Diogo Silva in first place, Manuel Correa in second place, and I managed to cross the line after all that action in P6. Thanks very much for watching.